do that? Never did. You put the mic on about he didn't right.
Big speeches came in. He's sitting right there.
We'll get started here in a few minutes. We just want to make sure that we have a quorum. We're waiting on Chief Agresta to get here. He should be here any minute.
Now you got me doubting myself, Frank.
It's green.
Yeah. Dan, could you sign in?
You're closer, especially if it's something bad.
All right, we'll start. Pulling in the parking lot now.
Awesome.
Use it. So.
Sir, I am okay. I've got you.
The only thing we haven't done. There's no thing.
Yes. Training
Just started. I went to no, for something different one. I didn't. I heard about it. I heard some talks about it.
That's just close. It's
close.
Combined
That's
with
what you can, yeah.
Right in the same area.
So once mental health is strapped into a chair, you just chuck them out.
Okay. No, they won't. Nor will they care.
All right, we'll get started here. It is
Go ahead, go on. It's on.
it's 1:08, and we'll start off with a roll call.
Delaware County, William Beavers.
Here.
Tara George.
Here.
David Simmons.
Present.
Margaret Wilson.
Here.
Ray Baker. Rebecca Danino is excused. John Farquhar is excused. Jim McCready.
Here.
Mark Souza.
Here.
Ron Warner. Hamilton County, Dave Brennan is excused. Jill Dunham. She's excused, okay, thank you. Kenneth Kurt is excused. Josh Wells. Carl Turner.
Here.
Montgomery County, Ken Chakowski.
Here.
Thomas Pasquarelli.
Present.
Aaron Robinson is excused. Michael Schwartz is excused. Anthony Agresta will be joining us in a few minutes. We'll put him on the record when he arrives. Otsego County, Sid Chase.
Here.
Timothy Foster.
Here.
Victor Jones.
Here.
Elizabeth McGowan, I'm here. Damon West.
Here.
Schoharie County, Dan Bixby.
Here.
Owen Hahn.
Here.
Howard Booth is excused. Benjamin Luch. Peter Nichols. Louis Jones. And Dr. Markowitz.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
All right. Introduction of guests.
Our guests today are Dr. Stephen Hassett with our REMAC, Dr. Thomas Smith with our REMAC, Alex Kaiser with the New York State Department of Health, Cole Bobnick, Larry Fregault, and Brittany Houghton Despacito with Richfield Springs Town of and Village of Ambulance, and George Curbello with Stanford Joint Fire District First Response Unit. Did I miss anyone?
All right. Everyone should have received the minutes from March 21st meeting. Any corrections, additions, deletions?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence will be with the minutes. Chairman's report, I don't have one. Secretary report.
Please remember, if your agency elects new officers, please remember to submit a certified agency EMS update form. It's the DOH 2936 to both the region and the state bureau to upgrade agency contact information. That's my report. There are no enforcement actions that I've received this month.
Treasurer's report.
Our REMSCO savings started with an opening balance of $4,150.06. There were no expenses. Closing balance was the same. REMSCO operating account started with an opening balance of $2,209.75 with expenses of $1,132.70 for a closing balance of $1,077.05. Our CON account started with $18,883.40, expenses of $2,294.12, leaving us a balance of $16,589.28.
All right. Any questions? If not, I'll take a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Regional program update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
If you could come over, that'd be good.
Sure.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's been a quiet month, fairly quiet month. No providers or physicians were credentialed, no BLS modality upgrades, no EPCR applications, changes or upgrades. There were 4 PAD applications processed. They were for Delaware County Department of Public Works, Oppenheim, Ephrata, St. Johnsville Central School District, Montgomery County Sheriff's, and Tennessee Gas Pipeline. There were no PAD occurrences or usages reported. Agency operating certificates or renewals, Town of Broome, Garrettsville, Blue Mountain Lake, and Stanford. As best stated, there were no disciplinary actions received. Good news, we did receive, it was $70,000 in change from Department of Health for voucher payments. Those payments were for the 4th quarter of 2023, which was April and June of last year, and the 1st quarter of 2024, which was July through September. So we're still a little behind, but we're catching up, which is good news. The only other thing I'd like to announce is if anybody's interested or spread the word, we're holding a certified instructor update. That's at Hudson Valley Community College on Thursday, May 16th. All the information's on the website, including the registration information. And the only other thing I'd like to add is if folks have an idea of what you want, we're getting close to having our web guy put the ARMS link on the website. So get a hold of me with the types of stuff you want on there, the tabs. I think I would suggest going to the REMO website, remo-ems.com, just to see what we have up there, and either let Beth or myself know what we want so we can get that up and operational. And that concludes my report. Thanks.
Thanks, Tim. Training.
I don't have anything. Howard had said last time he was going to have stuff in this meeting, but he didn't reach out.
Award nominating committee.
We submitted all of that. Howard said he submitted all that stuff.
He did
to you.
submit, so let me. Thanks. From Howard, please attach all of the submissions received after meeting with the EMS Awards Nomination Committee today. It was unanimously decided to put forth Jeff Schofield as ALS Provider of the Year, Mike Simons application was excellent, however, it spoke mainly to his administrative capabilities instead of his provider capabilities. We feel that it would have been a strong application for the Harriet C. Weber leadership category. ALS provider Jeff Schofield, educator of excellence Jonathan Behrens, communications specialist Matthew Birch, Harriet C. Weber leadership Patrice Delameter, and commissioner's excellence Philip Malady. That's the slate that's been put forth by the award nominating committee. So the question is now, to whom do we get those nominations at the state?
I will double check and I will send that to you guys.
Okay, and do, they are our regional awards as well. Do we want to do anything to make a plaque, recognize them? I'm open for ideas if we want to do something regionally as well. I know we're going to submit them to the state. Why don't you tell us what REMO does, Tim?
Well, not much in the last couple of years, but pre-pandemic, we had an awards banquet every year. I would budget for it, and if the REMSCO approved it, we'd set aside some funding, and then it'd be coming upon me to find a location, but we'd have a cater event and honor all the winners at a banquet. I'm not sure what we're gonna have this year, but that's what we did in the past.
Do they get plaques or anything?
I ordered plaques from them, yep.
Post that on our website at least as well.
Yeah. I'm in favor of plaques.
Okay.
Anyone else got any thoughts?
Invite them to one of our meetings and present it to them publicly.
Okay.
Everyone in favor?
Who was that? William Devers. And then, I don't know, who seconded it? Everyone did. Pick somebody.
All right. Transportation and standards.
I'm happy to say that after today, hopefully, we will have just none. Okay, Town of Richfield application for CON. On December 16th, 2023, we received from the Town of Richfield 2 hard copies, an electronic copy, and a redacted electronic copy of an application for a new agency CON for the Town of Richfield in Otsego County. This is a new agency CON. The application was sent to the committee for review on December 26, 2023. The committee came back with a list of missing items that was sent to the applicant. All items were received by February 15, 2024. Margaret Wilson, seconded by Sid Chase, brought forth a motion from committee to deem the Town of Richfield Ambulance CON application complete. The motion was approved unanimously and the application was forwarded for fitness and competency. Fitness and competency was received from the Bureau on March 11, 2024. The public hearing was held on Wednesday, March 27, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. at the Village of Richfield Springs Public Library, 102 Main Street, Richfield Springs, New York, with stenographic recording in place. Publication of the required legal notices had been taken in the Gloversville Leader Herald, the Daily Gazette Schenectady, and the Oneonta Star for the 2 weeks leading up to the public hearing as per the established regional policy for such places of publication. A certified mailing with return receipt requested was sent on March 9, 2024 to all ambulance agencies and all municipalities in Otsego County and agencies in municipalities contiguous with the Town of Richfield advising of this hearing. At the public hearing, there were 9 speakers in favor of the finding of public need. No one spoke in opposition to the application. There were 4 letters received in support of the CON application and no letters in opposition to the CON application. The conclusions of the public hearing officer were the findings of fact were after a review of the application submitted to the REMSCO by the Town of Richfield, In the statements made at the hearing, the following facts have been found. The town of Richfield has been receiving ambulance service in coordination with the village of Richfield Springs for over 80 years, and if granted an operating certificate, they will continue this relationship. Due to the geographic distances, there is a clearly demonstrated reduced availability or significantly delayed response from the county EMS providers as well as neighboring EMS agencies. The town of Richfield, with the support of the village, seek to obtain an operating authority to include its own municipal boundaries, and there is very strong support for the town of Richfield application for ambulance operating authority. As stated above, the town of Richfield has been receiving ambulance service in coordination with the village of Richfield Springs for over 80 years, and if granted an operating certificate, will continue this relationship. The town and village seek to continue to improve availability and response times to calls for medical assistance and transportation throughout its mainly rural geography. The applicant, based on its application to the REMSCO, has proven need as defined in Department of Health Policy Statement 0606. Specifically, there is a demonstrated absence, reduced availability, or an inadequate level of care, and there is a strong presumption in favor for approving the application as cited in Article 30, Section 3008.7-B. Further, there appears to be widespread strong support as illustrated by the more than 40 people in attendance for the hearing for the town of Richfield's application for ambulance operating authority. Therefore, it is in my opinion that the applicant has demonstrated need for ambulance operating authority in the town of Richfield in Otsego County. Respectfully submitted, Lee Burns. I'd like to offer a motion. Resolve that public need has been shown to exist for the town of Richfield ambulance to obtain a permanent certificate of need to operate their ambulance service within the service primary operating territory, being the town of Richfield in its entirety, pending the New York State Department of Health Bureau of Emergency Medical Services and Trauma Systems operating certificate application process policies 30-day window for appeals. Can someone make that motion?
Second it.
Who was that? Timothy Foster made the motion, Sid Chase seconded it. I'd like to do the statement of conflict of interest at this point. Any member of this council who has an apparent conflict of interest must declare the nature and extent of his or her interest prior to discussion, and if so directed by the council, abstain from voting. A conflict of interest is a member who has a financial interest in a competing service and those who serve as an officer in an organization deemed to be in direct competition with the applicant. The acceptance of statements of conflict of interest will be the first item of business in the discussion of the CON. Is there anyone who needs to declare an apparent conflict of interest?
All right, with that being said, is there any discussion on the motion? Does the applicant want to say anything? Up to the podium, please.
I promise I'll be short. It's not an easy promise for me to keep sometimes, but I'm probably the only person in this room not directly involved in emergency services, and I just want to take a second to thank you guys for what you do. I know how much training and time, your own personal safety, a lot of times is put at risk. As an elected official, I'm the town of Richfield supervisor, a politician, elected official. My first job is the safety, welfare, and benefit of my constituents and my community. We have, as the record stated, had a con for a number of years that a predecessor let slide, and we lost that con. It's been kind of a long journey to get to this point. The community responded to that supervisor by taking him out of office next opportunity. And that kind of speaks to the commitment the community has to our local village department. Our local village people are extremely dedicated. not only to town residents, to everybody, but I think it really pains them when they have to sit there and not respond to a call that they know they can get to faster. And I have some anecdotal cases where, fortunately, there hasn't been bad results, but there have been extended response times that people just don't understand, and they're not happy about it. My residents are pretty vocal. So, you know, in brief, I'm begging you guys to approve this con and to set this in motion so that we can financially support our local village ambulance, and we can get back to business as usual. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, we will take a roll call vote.
William Beavers.
Yes.
Tara George.
Yes.
David Simmons.
Yes.
Margaret Wilson.
Yes.
Jim McCready.
Yes.
Mark Souza.
Yes.
Carl Turner.
Yes.
Kenneth Chakosky.
Yes.
Thomas Pasquarelli.
Yes.
Anthony Agresta.
Yes.
Please let the record show that Anthony Agresta is here. Sid Chase.
Yes.
Timothy Foster.
Yes.
Victor Jones.
Yes.
Elizabeth McGowan is yes. Dan Bixby.
Yes.
Owen Hahn.
Yeah.
Dr. David Markowitz.
Yes.
The threshold of 16 votes has been met and passes.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody.
State Council report, there is none. We meet next month.
The 8th, I believe, of May.
May 7th and 8th.
REMAC.
REMAC. So, gentlemen, we had a combination REMAC. It was Aarons, and you know we've kind of
Can you
joined
come a
up.
little closer to the mic? Sorry.
We've joined up with Remo, so all the docs meet together for both Aarons and Remo. And a larger group of docs, they're incredibly knowledgeable in EMS, which is a real positive for us, helping us grow in the Aarons region and helping us, our docs grow into a stronger agency to help us out. So we met on April 3rd, and there were some of our topics, and we separate where Aarons does their specific Aarons issues, Remo does their specific Remo issues, and then everything together comes together for a joint REMAC. One of the Aarons issues was Stanford Joint Fire District application for approval of service to an ALS level of care was tabled. The physicians did have some questions on the application for like malpractice, medical control, and a few other questions, and we requested that Beth please take that over to the Bureau of EMS to help us with some clarification on those questions on the application. I'm slowing down in my old age, so Dr. David Afienko, he is one of the medical directors in our region, and I discussed the CMAC position, and he chose to take on the CMAC for Aarons as our representative at the state level on the state council. And as soon as there's approval by the REMSCO, the CMAC, and then the state, he can join up as our CMAC representative as soon as he is vetted and able to get on board. The other is, as I am slowing down, we're also looking for our REMAC representatives that are preparing to resign as the REMAC chairman, and let somebody else jump in and help Aarons continue to grow. And our next Aarons REMAC meeting combination is done by Zoom. It'll be on June 2nd. Other issues that the REMACs are kind of covering, and is important to the REMAC, are CARES. there is the cardiac arrest registry. And it's a great QA program. It's a great general knowledge program. A lot of the data that we're getting in cardiac arrest, what's beneficial, what's not beneficial, how can we do our job better? Because guys, cardiac arrest, we get one chance, right? And then it's all over. So how can we improve on what we do? And you guys are the experts because you guys are the first on scene. And if they've got any chance of survival, it's you. So the CARES registry takes all that data and see what works and what we can improve on, how we can do it better, quicker, and accomplish what's in the patient's best interest. So CARES is a registry where you enter data. It's not a huge amount of data. It's not overwhelming. But the CARES registry, we would really invite you and encourage you guys to join up with CARES and just take that 2 minutes to 5 minutes to enter the data into the computer after your cardiac arrest. Because then the data is available. I know you got your long PCRs, but it's just only a couple minutes. But then everybody can draw from that data, not just us. But it's nationwide, worldwide, where everybody can draw from this data. And huge, if you get, 60, 50, hundreds of thousands, whatever the data amount is, and draw that gets you a strong study for the positives. So I'm going to encourage you guys all, when you go back, look up CARES and cardiac arrest. Because we're going to have a speaker that's going to come, if not next month, the month after, who is actively in the program and can answer questions and do a presentation for us. And I think it'd be a real benefit, not only to us and the knowledge base that we can gain for it, but from the community. Okay? So I'm going to encourage you guys to go home, your spare time, what little that is, Google CARES real quick. Any questions for me? Okay, guys. Thank you.
Does anybody actually use EMIS charts here, your companies? So if you have your analytics open or accessible, you go in that, it actually has a CARES report section, it's like already done for you, you just shift it over to the world or whatever the site is for their CARES. Just transition right over.
We participate at AMR, and is it Susie you're having come
Yes.
speak? Susie Burnett is a AMR employee who has taken up the coordination of CARES for the entire state of New York. And as someone who does a limited amount of CARES entry, because a lot of ours moves over automatically, it's pretty easy to check the boxes. Then the hospital goes in and puts outcomes, and they issue an annual report about cardiac arrests in New York State, which is pretty neat to read.
And there was a fee to join, but I believe New York is paid for the fee for everybody. Is that correct?
I do not know that. That would be a Susie question.
There is no fee.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all been taken care of fee-wise for you guys. So you really have nothing to lose to jump into this and take a look.
All right. County reports, Delaware.
Delaware County is still working on started our spring EMT class. We have good attendance and that's going well, looking towards our fall schedule and summer events.
Otsego.
Last week, we had our Cooperstown original refresher EMT class test out.
Can you talk a little louder? The thing is I only have a few mics, so when everyone's so far, if you don't talk super loud, it's hard for me to hear to get an accurate
You're aiming
transcript.
for that mic, Damon.
The mic's upstairs.
Yeah. Cooperstown EMT class tested out last week. On 4/27, Sulioniana class will test out. 5/11, Hardwick EMT class will test out. Tonight is our last EMT core content class. And on 5/29, we start an EMT refresher. We're working on our fall schedule.
Thank you. Schoharie. Montgomery has nothing. Fulton.
Nothing at this time.
Hamilton.
All Lake EMT class of 4 tests out May 4th.
All right. The old business. The only old business that I have is, did everyone check their calendars and make sure that moving the October meeting from the 17th to the 24th is going to be okay and works for everyone?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
I'll check with the Holiday Inn and make sure we can do that.
New business. Sad to say, Dr. Markowitz already mentioned it, but he will be stepping down as our REMAC chair effective June 30th of this year as he gets ready for retirement, although he assures us that he will not leave us in the dark and will still assist and still cover us at State Council until we can get the other doctor vetted to be on that council and have a vote. So I'm sorry to see you go. Thank you for all your service, and we'll miss you. With that being said, we need to take a vote to appoint Dr. David
Afinco.
Afianco to our regional representative for the CMAC. Once we vote here, then we can forward that stuff to the state to start that vetting process. So can I have a motion for that?
So move.
Dave? Second? Ken? Any discussion? All in favor?
I will forward everything to, was it Teresa or Valerie?
Teresa, I think it was.
Teresa.
Well, I send it to both.
Okay.
Dr. Afianco works both at Tri-County, he does shifts at Albany Med. He is board at EM, great guy. He's seeking future being boarded in EMS is his goal there. I wish him the best. He's very dedicated, interested in EMS. So I think that he'll be a great benefit up to the state level.
All right. Just some protocol updates. They're going to be published on the web today or tomorrow.
I can tell you they are out as of about 5 minutes ago.
Okay. Everybody's got to be up and running with those by 7/1 of 24. So please take a look at them and bring that back to your agency so you can start your training.
That is both the New York State BLS and the ALS collaborative protocols, and there are change logs that have been published as accompanying documents to show exactly where the changes have been made in the protocols, and it is very extensive. I am also trying to see if anyone has already developed protocol training, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And if somebody has, I promise I'll share it with you all.
All right. Tim had mentioned the website. Can I get a couple of volunteers just to take a look at that in your next week or so we can get some feedback on how we want it to look? It's basically, our thought is to almost replicate the REMO website, just put a tab that says errands, but we want to make sure what we have up there is what our region needs. So can I just get a couple of volunteers to do that? Maggie? And Jim? All right. Perfect. If you can just look at it and get back to us, either Beth or I, that would be great. Any other new business?
I guess it would go back to the website. What about the forms? So we've traditionally always had ARMS forms and REMO forms. Is there a way we could just merge it so there's just one set of forms? Instead of having a pad form for ARMS and a pad form for REMO?
I think it's actually a good suggestion. I don't see why we can't. As long as the body approves here and stuff, just drop me an email reminder or something, we can work on that.
Just merging some stuff just to make it easier
Sure.
for everybody.
I think then when we're looking at it, we'll compare what they have as opposed to what we have, just to make sure, you know,
Compare the
that.
forms?
Yeah, compare the forms and more importantly, make sure that we're not using something for something else that they
Yeah.
made.
And I will try to go through the archives and send you anything that we
Oh, because the
had.
forms aren't there.
They aren't there, so I will,
That's right, I forgot.
I
I'm sorry.
will try to find
Okay.
what I can and get it to you. There's some odd little things that look like snapshots of previous web pages in the archives. So I will try to find those and get them to the two of you.
That'd be great.
Is the webpage active right now?
No, our web page is down.
I didn't know if the new one was,
No, we aren't building a new one, we're going to build off of the Remo one.
Any other new business? If not, we meet again on May 16th at the Holiday Inn in Johnstown. And I will take a motion to adjourn. Bill? All right. Thanks, folks.
Mark West. Yeah, basically, Eric County sent you an email about, is there any discussion on that, like, overstep the line?
There is, there's also going to be more.
I don't want to start a forest fire, but that would.
So the forms
It seems to be. So it's kind of like I'm doing things there, because I have to pass a code skill, and I'm passing it out. I think code skill, like, should be, I think white skill, code skill, or Fox, state lines. We're constantly in this. Yeah, I know, but most of the admissions are from me, so I don't know if I'm really having to make money for your hospital. Oh, okay. Thank you. No, I didn't think you would. I just want to bring up the next meeting that, I didn't go through a discussion on it, or honestly, if I actually overstepped my line.
No, you are fine. Because it is. That was my list of things to stop. The challenge is that we are definitely discussing when I got to know that how do we do it generally?
We teach the new paramedics as part of the program too, the things that we do. And then because we push back from the other side. And then he's services for that. So I hear, so the positions you guys.
So how do we bring the whole group together to work? I know. How do we bring it? Right. But the other side. Well, we have ordered.
Not first time I voiced.
You didn't tell me you were going to try that.